My name is Catherine. I live here with my husband Anand in this 4-room flat here at Cantonment Close. So when my husband and I bought this home, we envisioned ourselves living in a very cozy, very bright and airy sort of environment, somewhere that we could come home to relax to after a day of work. When we first bought the house, we noticed that the living area was much bigger than the original dining area, and because we envisioned ourselves hosting family and friends, we decided to swap both spaces so that we would have a bigger place to host and accommodate our family and friends when they come over. We mainly sourced our ideas from Pinterest and Instagram, and the only thing that we really quite liked was the terrazzo backsplash that we saw online, and we wanted it to be accompanied by a darker shade of colour for the cabinets. And our idea and us, we worked together to come up with this particular palette that we were eventually quite pleased with. For me, the favourite part of the house would be the dry pantry and dining area, because that's where I make my coffee every morning, and that's also where my husband and I have most of our meals and where we host our family and friends. It's a chill out place for all of us to sit around, have a drink and just chit chat. I think there are 2 tips that we would like to share with new homeowners. So first of all, just to remind everyone that, as much as we enjoy the aesthetic aspects of things, also to not overlook the practicality of certain decisions that you're making while designing your home. For example, we currently have a concealed door that is the entrance to our master bedroom. So on paper, I think the idea of a concealed door really excited us. We like the idea of having a very sleek, seamless look. But I guess in reality, after we moved in, we realized that there are some inconveniences that come with that. So for example, the door does not have a handle from the outside for the concealed look. So aesthetically, it's great, it's perfect, but practically speaking, I think if we could do it over again, we might have added a doorknob. And then the second tip we would like to share is to be open-minded and embrace the process and embrace the challenges that come along with it. So for example, I would say to be prepared that certain materials that you have previously chosen may be out of stock due to the pandemic and general shortage of materials currently island-wide. So be prepared that you may need to make last-minute changes to your design, and it's really alright. I think during the design process, sometimes we often had small changes that we wanted to make to the overall design. So we would communicate them to Keith and Hui Ling, and Hui Ling would very quickly just do a quick rendering of what we have in mind just to see if it's a viable option or not. So one example I have in mind would be when our initially chosen toilet towels were out of stock. We went down to the towel shop to choose new towels, but we couldn't decide between a few options there. So we just sent photos of the towels over to Hui Ling, and she quickly did up toilet renderings of how it would look like with the various towels that we had shortlisted. So that really helped in our decision-making process. Overall, I think we are quite pleased with how the renovation process went. Both Keith and Hui Ling are very easy to work with, they are very approachable. So whenever we had questions, all we needed to do was drop them a text. And they were also problem solvers. So when we had trouble or we had certain issues in the house, they would let us know and propose solutions to rectify these issues.